It's a little bit cold out there, so I decided to do a project that I can do mostly inside the van. I'm going to install the swivel seats today, and I'm going to start that by disconnecting the negative terminal from the battery. There's just a little lever on the terminal that you can just pop it off. This will prevent the airbags from going off when I remove the seat. I have the seat pulled all the way forward to expose these 4 bolts here that are holding it in the back. So I need to remove these bolts. Then I'll scoot the seat all the way back and do the same thing in the front. Then just remove the attachment to these wires back there and pull off the seat so that I can then put in the swivel base. So I have the seat taken out, and I have the swivel seat, the kind of W shape needs to be pointing up. And then I'm just going to line this up and bolt it down here. Then I'm going to put the seat back on and bolt it back. So I made a mistake when I was trying to attach my seat to the swivel seat base. When you put the swivel seat in, you attach it with bolts right here, but I made these bolts, I screwed them in too tight into the base, and that made this part push up a little bit, which is connected to this like I-beam shaped piece right here on the inside. And what that did is made it so that I couldn't slide my seat all the way back. So this got pushed up a little bit, and when it comes from the factory, it's able to, slide back and forth, no problem. But when it got pushed up from over tightening this bolt that was right here, it kept hitting this screw that's right in there, and it was not able to slide back. So I went with a circular sander and sanded down this piece right here so that now it slides over the bolt again. So if you get it too tight and you're not able to move your seat all the way forward or all the way back, check and see if maybe you need to sand down that little piece. So I have the swivel seat mounted to the base now, and one thing that I initially had an issue with was getting the seat to begin its turn. It was so tight that I literally had to hold down the lever and take a hammer and hit the side to make it start spinning. And the reason for that is because under here there are 2, I don't know what to call those, bearings I guess, that were rubbing on each other. And there's 2 back here, and then there's 2 more in the front that were a little too tight. So I loosened them, and now it's swiveling much easier, and I'll show you how I did it. I took a hex head bit and just loosened these just a little bit, like 3/4 turns each. So 1, 2, 3. That's all it took. And now it's swiveling nice and easy. And locks in place, no problem. So now I'm going to put the seat on. I'm going to make sure that the wires make it through this hole. And I'm going to tighten up the back screws. And then I'm going to slide it all the way back and then tighten up the front screws. So this is the bolt and nut that came with my swivel seat. And when you're installing these, just make sure that the nut is facing up, because if it's facing down, it'll be like this, and it can interfere with stuff that's on the swivel seat and make it not move as smoothly. So just make sure that you install it like this. So for this, I'm just using a ratchet and a wrench, and I'm just going to screw them in. It helps to have the swivel seat offset from the base a little bit so that you can place the nuts. Make sure not to get these too tight, or you'll push up that I-beam and you won't be able to slide your seat all the way back. I took the seatbelt cover off to make this a little bit easier to see, but a lot of people cut off this lower piece. I chose to leave it on because with the new style swivel, you don't, strictly speaking, have to take it off for it to be able to swivel around. But if it is just the right distance forward or back, you can see that it's going to hit this bolt. So yeah, that piece will still come and hit that bolt. You could shave that bolt down. I'm not going to do that because it only happens if it's just the right distance forward or backward. So you can just take the seat and move it forward or back. No big deal. So yeah, that's just a minor call out, but worth noting that with these new style seats, you don't have to cut this piece off. So with that, I have my swivel seat fully installed. The only remaining thing to do is to reconnect the wires underneath, but the seat is attached and will swivel all the way around. Just like that. Yeah, I highly recommend getting swivel seats in your van. I had it in my last van and it just makes the space so much more usable. It essentially makes your van, you know, this much bigger. It feels a lot more comfortable if you have people come over to chat with you. You know, I could sit at my desk and have two people comfortably sitting in the front seats and we could just, you know, easily hang out, and it really made the space feel a lot more usable. Installing swivel seats wasn't too hard to do. I highly recommend doing it. Just make sure to follow those tips that I gave you about being able to slide it all the way back and forth and loosening the bolts underneath so that it swivels a little more easily. It's a really worthy addition. It's not too hard to do. I hope you enjoyed watching, and thank you.